Large ministries can seem invincible from the outside, with vast audiences, global reach, and impressive revenues. Yet, even organizations built on decades of success face challenges when growth slows, costs rise, or donor patterns shift. Recent financial trends reveal how such changes can affect stability, even for well established ministries. This story illustrates a key lesson. Systems built for growth rely on momentum. And when the environment changes faster than the internal structure adapts, cracks begin to show. Understanding these pressures helps explain why surpluses can turn into deficits and how strategic adjustments become necessary. The foundation of a successful model. For years, the ministry operated like a finely tuned machine. The formula was simple yet powerful: teach, reach people, gain support, and reinvest in expanding outreach. Television broadcasts and radio programs amplified the message, while conferences drew thousands and books reached millions worldwide. This created a donation flywheel. Supporters funded more content, which attracted more supporters, generating consistent revenue. For decades, the system worked remarkably well. Revenue grew steadily, expenses remained manageable, and net assets increased, providing a financial cushion. From the outside, the ministry's model appeared solid, efficient, and sustainable. Revenue streams and global reach. The ministry's revenue came from diverse sources. Monthly supporters provided recurring contributions, conferences generated event income, and book sales added another layer of funding. With these streams, the ministry could expand global outreach, including disaster relief, food programs, and humanitarian efforts. Reports indicated that a significant portion of donations went directly to these programs, maintaining public trust. This model allowed growth without compromising mission impact. But sustaining such a system depended on steady revenue and manageable costs. When either shifted, the financial flywheel began to slow, revealing vulnerabilities previously masked by years of consistent surplus. Pandemic effects on donations. The pandemic temporarily boosted donations across many charities. With people spending more time at home, online engagement surged, and economic uncertainty often increases charitable giving. During this period, revenue streams appeared stronger than ever, reinforcing the perception of financial stability. However, this surge was temporary. As society reopened, donations began to normalize. Ministries reliant on consistent, long-term support faced the challenge of maintaining previous revenue levels. What seemed like ongoing growth was actually a peak, not a trend. When revenue settled back, organizations that had expanded programs or staff during the surge suddenly faced tighter margins. Rising operational costs. While revenue fluctuated, operational costs continued to rise. Running studios, broadcasting programs, maintaining staff, and supporting events became increasingly expensive. Travel costs, production expenses, and distribution fees climbed steadily. Fixed costs in large ministries function like a baseline, expenses that do not shrink even when revenue dips. This creates a risk. If income declines while fixed costs remain high, deficits emerge. For decades, the surplus covered these costs easily. When that buffer begins to erode, every financial decision becomes more consequential, forcing leadership to consider restructuring programs, scaling back initiatives, or reimagining their media strategy. Changes in media consumption. Television was once the engine driving audience engagement and donations. Scheduled programs built loyal viewership, which translated into consistent support. But media consumption habits have changed dramatically. Cable television audiences are shrinking, and younger generations rarely commit to long broadcasts. Instead, digital platforms dominate, offering shorter, on-demand content. While these platforms can reach large audiences, converting views into long-term donations is challenging. Ministries must now balance traditional media with digital strategies, adapt content to new formats, and rethink fundraising approaches. Failure to adapt can slow the flywheel, reducing momentum and eventually impacting the organization's financial health. Shifting donor demographics. The ministry's core donor base has aged over decades. Longtime supporters historically provided predictable monthly contributions, forming a financial backbone. Younger generations approach giving differently, often favoring short campaigns or one-time contributions. This shift in donor behavior requires organizations to rethink engagement strategies. The traditional model, built on recurring donations, is less reliable. Without adapting fundraising methods, even ministries with strong reputations can experience revenue declines. Recognizing demographic trends and adjusting outreach to appeal to new supporters is crucial for sustaining operations and maintaining the balance between mission impact and financial stability. The financial turning point. The impact of these combined changes became visible in recent financial statements. Revenue fell to just over $104 million, while expenses rose above $122 million, creating a deficit of nearly $18 million. 2 years prior, the ministry had reported a $15 million surplus, making this a swing of over $30 million. Net assets declined from roughly $77 million to under $60 million, signaling that part of the ministry's operations were now being funded by savings rather than incoming revenue. Withdrawals from long-term endowment funds further reduced financial reserves, demonstrating that even successful organizations face limits when momentum slows. The meaning behind the numbers alone do not indicate crisis, but they reflect structural pressures. Large ministries operate with fixed costs that cannot easily adjust to revenue fluctuations. Studios, staff, broadcast operations, and distribution networks require steady funding. When revenue falls and costs remain fixed, financial stress emerges. The deficit is therefore a signal rather than a cause. Understanding this distinction is crucial. Financial swings often highlight deeper systemic issues rather than isolated mistakes. Identifying and addressing these underlying pressures is essential to restore stability, maintain programs, and prevent reliance on reserves from becoming the default operating strategy. Strategic choices for sustainability. Faced with these pressures, ministries must consider options to maintain operations. Reducing costs, reshaping media strategies, or increasing digital engagement are all possible approaches. Each choice comes with trade-offs, requiring careful planning to ensure mission continuity while addressing financial realities. Digital platforms may reach new audiences but demand different fundraising tactics. Cutting programs may stabilize budgets but risks mission impact. Successful adaptation requires strategic foresight, careful prioritization, and innovative thinking. Leaders must balance short-term survival with long-term sustainability, ensuring that the ministry continues to serve its mission without overextending resources. Leadership transition challenges. Leadership is another critical factor. Ministries built around a charismatic founder face unique risks when succession is inevitable. The founder's influence and public presence create identity and credibility that are difficult to replicate. Transitioning leadership requires selecting individuals capable of maintaining trust, vision, and operational expertise. At the same time, financial models must evolve to fit a changing environment. Balancing continuity with necessary innovation is complex but essential. Organizations that fail to plan for succession may struggle to maintain donor confidence, audience engagement, and overall stability during periods of significant operational change. Signals, not predictions. The current financial situation represents a turning point, not an end. Deficits indicate that the ministry's growth model must adapt to a new reality. These numbers act as signals, showing where pressure exists and where adjustments are required. They do not dictate failure or success, but they highlight areas needing attention. Strategic evaluation of operations, fundraising, leadership, and media strategy can restore momentum. By viewing financial changes as indicators rather than crises, organizations can make informed decisions that support sustainability, ensuring that mission impact continues even as the external environment evolves. The road ahead. Large ministries operate in complex systems where growth, revenue, and expenses are tightly intertwined. Changes in media habits, donor demographics, operational costs, and global events all influence financial health. Understanding these factors helps leaders make proactive choices instead of reacting to deficits. Sustainability requires constant evaluation, adaptation, and foresight. Successful ministries will combine innovative financial strategies with thoughtful leadership transitions to maintain momentum. By recognizing that numbers signal trends rather than dictate outcomes, organizations can navigate challenges while continuing to fulfill their mission and reach audiences around the world. Conclusion: balancing mission and sustainability. Even long established ministries face pressures that challenge traditional growth models. Surpluses can shift to deficits when environmental changes outpace internal adaptation. Operational costs, donor behavior, media consumption, and leadership transitions all shape financial outcomes. While these trends are concerning, they also present opportunities for strategic innovation. Ministries that respond with insight, flexibility, and careful planning can maintain sustainability without compromising their mission. The key lesson is that faith and vision must be paired with pragmatic financial management, ensuring that organizational impact continues regardless of external pressures.